Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Tricked Before. This time, prototype. Yeah, we're back on Voyager. Prototype. Guess what is a prototype? Facebook was at one time. I guess maybe it still is. A prototype for what? I don't know. Maybe the end of civilization. But anyway, we're out there just to make you laugh and to keep you posted on what we're up to. And so get in there with us. Mix it up with us. Be like, hey, I love what you just said there. And maybe be like, oh, I love this episode. I don't like this episode. Or engage with us. We love it. You know, we do this. We talk about Star Trek. We'll do it anytime, anywhere, pretty much. Just like right now, we're going to talk about Prototype, Voyager. It's all been trekked before.
Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. Your regular skeleton crew is here.
This is Steven.
It's Olivia James, and we're here to talk about the Star Trek Voyager episode, Prototype. I mean, we're still reeling from that two-part Deep Space Nine episode we did the last couple weeks, but this one was an episode too. So, what are your first impressions of Prototype?
It kind of hits. It's another one that kind of hits old territory. I thought there were some interesting things in here. We get a Data shout out.
Yeah, I thought they were just going to dance around his name for a minute, and then they actually said his name.
Yeah, we get kind of a Orville precursor, the Kalons, perhaps. At the same time, old look. So yeah, I feel like I'm just keep repeating myself. I don't know. This is a great episode, but it was all right. I thought it had some good stuff.
My alternate episode was either the Orville or Doctor Who. Felt very.
I finally got around to looking it up and being like, is this the Orville? And somebody else said Doctor Who. And I thought somebody said Metropolis.
Yeah.
And I thought of some others too.
It definitely didn't feel like Star Trek, this robot race. I liked it, but it did not.
Buck Rogers, which I also thought it looked like Tweaky.
It's in a different tone than what you've come to expect from Star Trek. So,
yeah.
My first impression was it was fine. Mm-hmm. I wish I could say better, but no, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was slightly outside what Voyager typically has been. So that's, I guess, a positive, but not, I don't know. It was okay. It didn't do anything groundbreaking that was like, oh, this is so good. Especially coming around the heels of the last Voyager episode and the two-part Deep Space Nine episode that I'm going to keep teasing, even though I know you haven't seen because we're recording these out of order. But the last three episodes were so good that then we get to this, and it's like, oh, okay. It's good.
And I like the Torres character, and she's my inspiration. I'm jumping way ahead, but for this episode, I like a lot of what she does. But I still don't know that. I still don't feel like she is kind of like our many times in Trek. Our female crew members are not given good. This is my episode, but I wouldn't say this was a bad one. We've had some terrible episodes for our ladies through years, but we're coming off our most recent Voyager episode was a great Janeway episode.
Janeway gets well served in the series, has been so far.
Yeah.
And Torres hasn't been. I mean, she's not gotten as much prominence as I would prefer, but she's not been the parts we've gotten of her overall haven't been terrible. Like I think she's already gotten better stuff than Crusher and Troy ever got.
Yeah, she hasn't had terrible episodes, and she hasn't been marginalized. So
the same way, anyway. Yeah.
I just don't think she's gotten necessarily great episodes, but
agreed. She does have some good stuff coming up, but I'm not going to say she's going to get like anything like Jadzia Dax and Blood Oath or anything. We're not getting that from her, unfortunately. We start with a really weird image on the screen that you're not sure what it is, which I was immediately flashing back to season 1, the episode where Tom Paris was accused of murder. Ex post facto, I think was the name of it.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So, but then we saw B'Elanna wanting to study it, and my daughter's Zoe watched it with me, and her question was, so who are we? Because she recognized that we were the perspective being portrayed. And so she's like, who are we? And I'm like, I don't know. I got to keep watching and figure it out because I don't remember this at all.
I liked that opening shot, and I thought, oh, is this going to be the whole episode? And for some reason in my brain, it was more like the little probe thing that Cather Donahue still is playing on not only Lower Decks, but also recently in Starfleet Academy. I think, or maybe it was just something similar, but I recognized it, and then I didn't hear the voice. But the last episode I watched, they started getting deep into Ben Sisko, and I was like,
oh no.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I need to stop. So I just stopped the episode. I'm like, I got to put it in Picard territory.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry. Because
I was watching. I was like, no. I was like, nope. And I've forgotten whatever they said, fortunately.
Okay.
So
I was going to say,
put it out of my mind. It's like, all right, I'll come back to this in a few years. So in my mind, when what they were talking to was something like that Cather Donahue thing, and then when it ended up being just a robot man, I was like, okay, well, interesting. Let's see where it goes. But
we saw the robot body going into the credits and finding out it was all robotic, not a cyborg. It wasn't the Cybermen from Doctor Who.
Yes. I'm trying to think where it is. Okay, it's coming. Oh yeah, it is. This is a ship of exploration, Mr. Tuvok. And I just wrote, whenever they say that, they're right, but it always leads to something bad. And I was just like, this is not going to end well. I guess it did, but it might not have. So
we get Kim and B'Elanna being super playful. And at this point, my daughter was talking about how much she loves B'Elanna, and to entice her to watch, not to spoil. But I was like, so B'Elanna's going to fall in love here in this show and be a couple with someone. And she's like, is it Kim? And I was like, nope. And she's like, it seems like it would be Kim. And I'm like, yep, I get why you think that.
That does, yeah.
In this episode especially, it brought back that bit in season 1 where they were kind of playful. And you're like, oh, are they going to go there with them? No, it's going to be a Chandler-Monica relationship that works so well, but you don't see it coming. Neela cuts off B'Elanna before she gets her or cuts off B'Elanna from the coffee because she's had 2 full pops.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee, but that seems like an excessive amount.
Yeah, like I don't drink coffee either, but I drink a lot of coffee martinis, if you will. So I had one last week.
Espresso martinis?
Yeah, and usually it's espresso liqueur, but I think I had one last week that I had actual coffee in it because, and again, we talk about how old I am. I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning, wide awake, and I'm like, oh yeah, now I get, because I don't, unless I'm drinking liquor with it, I don't drink Coca-Cola after 7:00 because I don't want to be up all night.
Even with liquor, I don't drink Coca-Cola after 5:00.
Yeah, see, and that's smart. But I was like, oh man. So I related to what was going on with her a lot more here. But I thought, I guess, is it possible for coffee to be not as bad? I don't know. I'm not going to make that judgment. As bad of an addiction as liquor or cigarettes or whatever. I mean, although I think lately we've heard coffee has positive aspects.
We've heard that liquor is positive in the past too. But I was thinking,
that's true.
I was thinking in terms of the pot. Look, I get the caffeine addiction if you drink soda. I get the liquor addiction. But you drink 2 pitchers of liquor or Coca-Cola. Oh, somebody's going to be worried about you. So that much coffee to me is like, oh, that's too much.
It makes my stomach hurt. I mean, just thinking about it.
She also says it's almost palatable, which I was like, I like that even though we've moved on from Neelix's bad cooking, that his cooking's probably decent. His coffee? Nope, not at all.
And I do like that. I think it's a cool shot. I mean, when she's in there and he's already making, he's there doing sous chef, whatever. He's the chef for the day.
Yeah.
And I thought it was an interesting, maybe Neelix's species really doesn't have to sleep that much, but
Galaxians?
I just thought it was, I liked just from the look of it, it is kind of dark and he's there working. It felt like morning, and I don't know that we have that feeling usually on any of the ships.
So he said breakfast
we've talked about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we've ever had the feeling of it's 6 a.m. or whatever time it was.
It was dim in that mess hall. He said breakfast wasn't for an hour and a half, which to me, breakfast starts at 6 or 7 on a military vessel. So we're talking like 4 or 5 a.m. Yeah. And at first, I agree with you. I almost bumped on like, ooh, that's a little early for him to be an early riser. But then I was like, well, he's the chef. We've not seen him engage in the late night parties. He probably goes to bed at 8 o'clock because he's got to cook for them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so he's going to be present during your day, but he's not around in the evenings. Yeah. So it made sense to me. I did appreciate his story about him trying to figure out the recipe, and he was too tired to realize that salt was the missing ingredient. And also the throwaway line about salt is the most common spice in the galaxy reminded me of like Beverly Crusher's line about we've never solved the common cold. It's those common things that get tossed in an update for the future that I appreciate.
I wrote down Neelix with good advice again. I thought, and again, I thought he was great.
Some Guinan level advice.
And actually, it was something my sister told me a long time ago. I think I was still in high school, and she was like, you know what? If you're working on something and you're not getting anywhere, and whether it's nighttime or not, but she was like, stop. Yeah. If you're just sitting there for 20 minutes spinning your wheels, you're not. Go do something else and come back.
Yes.
And I thought his advice was very similar, and I thought it was really cool. So I enjoyed that. I feel like it's two characters we don't see talk to each other a lot. I enjoyed the framing of it.
Well, the next scene is the doctor judging B'Elanna for her choice of PJs, and I was like, PJs, that look totally fine to me.
I'd like, and from my limited, what Bill Simmons would call half-assed internet research, there's people that hated the Klingon Bob on Worf, but I like it on Torres, and maybe that's just I like ladies or whatever. But I never disliked. I guess Worf's hair goes through different phases, like all of our hair. But and obviously I love. I'm losing our actress.
Jennifer Lean.
I apologize.
Tess.
I'm sorry.
Are you talking about Kess's short hair, or you were talking about Roxanne?
No, sorry, Torres.
Roxanne
I like her
Biggs-Dawson. Okay,
yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I feel, and I was thinking, like, does she have to have that? Because and I don't know, I can't remember. Is it Klingon thing? You don't want to cover up your ridges?
I don't think we've seen any Klingons that cover up their ridges.
Okay, but so maybe that's just a choice of the showrunners or whatever, or the people.
Well, the hair doesn't grow down over the front, so I guess if you did this for the Patreon, if you pull your the tendrils around.
But I think she's such an cute, attractive woman that it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
But I'm partial to Bob's, and my wife at the time had the same hairstyle, so I think that's part of it as well. The pajamas, I thought they were great. I just was like, the doctor doesn't know what he's talking about. He's out of his element there. I was like, I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I don't mean that in a proving way, just like I'm always fascinated with what these guys wear to bed. And I thought it looked like velvet, which just made me think of, this will be our one Seinfeld moment for this episode. George he's like, oh, are you kidding me? If I could, I'd be draped in velvet all the time. Mm-hmm. And I did think like, wow. So, and I guess any pajamas, you're getting out of your regular day clothes into your night clothes. It's a transition, but I wish more Klingons, maybe that's what they all wear. Maybe we don't see them sleeping enough, but, and again, it speaks to Roxanne Biggs-Dawson that obviously she's a very attractive woman. And it wasn't quite a Bill Tease thing, but in a way it was sneaky. It was sneaky, sexy, but not overtly. It was just, and again, maybe it's just, she's a very cute, attractive woman. But
who is
maybe
basically giving up acting to just be a director.
What is this? What's that?
Said who has basically given up acting to just be a director now.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. And then I think this is where they get into maybe this is later, but there's a scene, you know what, maybe it's when it is them talking, and then it's the next time when she starts doing it. The tech gobbledygook in this episode, it actually sounds like, and a credit to the actors too, of like, yep, that makes sense. Yeah, you're really justifying this. This all makes sense. Yeah, of course. This is how that works. I thought they did a good job there.
So her scene with the doctor, I liked that he started with the "I'm a doctor, not a whatever," and she cut him off and finished it. I also really appreciated Bob Picardo's acting choice of keeping his hands showing how impatient he was. If you noticed, like they kept like moving, his fingers were moving in a way that's like, please stop. I just want you gone. And in the way that the rest of his manner didn't convey, but I absolutely get why his character would feel that way in the moment. So I thought it was a well done. I mean, this was Cass only has a cameo in this episode essentially, but I was like, I can deal without Cass for 2 episodes. I can't deal without the Doctor for 2 episodes. So I was glad we had this good scene for the Doctor. So a lot of
while we're on the Cass cameo, I'll just do it now.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit 3 weeks ago. No Cass in that episode. And this one, she shows up and I was like, oh yeah, she's on this show. And then, I've talked about the Cass voice, which I really like a lot. But here, she's just talking about coffee. And I'm like, she's got a coffee commercial voice. She's so like, I'm talking about the coffee and it's decaf. Or she didn't say whatever she says. But anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Back to where we were.
We find out that thousands of these robots were built. But the builders were killed, and so the robots are dying off. And I love the debate about, are we helping them reproduce, or are we giving them a cure for something that has afflicted them? The Janeway Torres for Prime Directive debate was so good.
I wrote down some good Prime Directive talk, and usually, we're like, all right, whatever. It's usually I feel like the conversation is more like, are they ignoring it? Are they giving it too much credence? And I thought here it was just a really good conversation. I thought it was really good. And also it plays out over the rest of the episode because Torres is kind of wrestling with it.
Yeah.
And then, she doesn't really have a choice eventually. And so I thought that was really good.
Totally agree. And so the robots, we should mention the lead robot is played by Rick Worthy, who is best known for While You Were Sleeping, Duplicity, playing Alorian Officer number 1 in Star Trek Insurrection, and a 10-episode reoccurring role in Star Trek Enterprise. Okay. I have not seen his episodes on Enterprise, so I don't know that character at all. But he's still active. He was in 911 last year. He was in 4 episodes of the Gossip Girl reboot recently, 4 episodes of Station 19. Definitely a familiar face if you've been around TV in the last 20 years. Supernatural, The Vampire Diaries, CSI, Battlestar Galactica, the original, or not the original, but the 2000s reboot. Mm-hmm. So lots and lots of his biggest role was he did 22 episodes of The Magnificent Seven from 98 to 2000. But lots of stuff.
That was another one that people thought the automated units looked like is the Cylons.
Yes, I could see that. But if you saw Rick Worthy's face, you would be like, I recognize that guy. Yeah. So the robots kidnap B'Elanna, and then they kind of like turn. The episode takes a turn because up until that point, you're just like, she's helping him out, and there's a moral quandary, and then all of a sudden, it's not just a moral quandary. It's like, what does B'Elanna have to do to survive? The fact that robots could destroy Voyager is like, it raises the stakes and makes it a really interesting story. And B'Elanna choosing to save Voyager. I mean, that Maquis element to her is always hanging over her head, I feel like, in every scene.
Yes.
But I feel like this episode puts to rest, like, is she a good person or not? Clearly she is. She's like, I had to save Voyager, so I had no choice. Yeah. I mean, you could say a lot, like, even if she's not, I mean, her friends, even if she's still Maquis loyal, her friends are on Voyager, but I don't know, it just felt like a turn for her. And when she explains all this to Janeway, and Janeway was like, I get it. I was like, oh, okay. No, like, I loved how reasonable Janeway is, because I feel like a lot of Starfleet officers we've seen would be like, no, morals are no morals. You can't bend. And Janeway is much more flexible. Cisco is too, which we haven't got into too much yet, but we're going to. But Janeway and Cisco, it's why I love them. They're willing to bend. Whereas Kirk just breaks, and Picard doesn't break. He's strict. So yeah.
Yeah. When the turn came, I wrote shocking with 2 exclamation points, but I also should have had quotation marks because I knew, like I said, as soon as Janeway said, this is a ship of exploration, I'm like, this isn't going to end well, or it's not going to go well. I think it ended well, but.
Well, the robot said, if you fail, you and your people will die.
Yeah.
There's no ambiguity in that.
Yeah. And I thought the whole thing of the two robot races, which I know, again, there's a lot of elements that we've seen before, but I thought it was a good casserole, if you will, of we're going to take all these elements. It's, it's like we've talked about Star Wars many times. Like George Lucas is like, yeah, I took from this and this and this and this and this, and everybody, and we mixed it up, and you all loved it, and we did it, but we still made it our own. And I think as much as we're seeing, like, same here. I thought we saw things from different things. I thought it was still good. At one point, Torres says, "Build your damn prototype one," using the damn word. But of course, since Keith's not here, she said it. She said the title of the episode. A generic title, but also on the money. So
part of the episode that strained my credulity was when they're like, yeah, these robots are completely identical except for their power units. Somehow their power units are all individualistic and they're not transferable. You can't like take his power unit and put it in. I was like,
yeah,
that's a little weak. That's a
little bit of stretching. Yep.
B'Elanna says the robots aren't sentient. References data at that point. Did you get
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the data reference. Right after this, she says you have to adjust the flux capacitance. And I was like, is that the flux capacitor? And she's just, they slightly changed. It felt like a Back to the Future reference there.
When 3947 says, are they servants? I was like, uh-oh, how are you going to explain this? Because aren't they? Because it made me think of not only the Star Wars servant droids, but also the animals back on the Flintstones, looking at the camera. They're animated, but they're still looking at the camera, like,
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm losing but
Yes.
you think you have it bad kind of a thing.
Yes.
But yeah, I was like, tread carefully here, Torres, because
So we meet
I like the data shout out.
Yeah.
So
we meet the other robot ship, and if you notice, both the robots and the ships are silver and gold. It's a silver versus gold robot conflict. Yeah. And I was like, they talk about the robotic civil war and how the builders were enemies. And when the builders created peace, that they just like killed their builders because we had a mission of war against each other, which now I'm starting to get let them be your last battlefield, whatever. But the gold and silver, the fact that it wasn't just the robots, I don't get why robots built by two different civilizations would look identical other than Star Trek budget, other than the color, but also the fact that they chose to just alter the color was like, oh, you don't trust your audience, you got to make it that on the nose, that they have to be different colors to be different teams. I don't know.
That's good. It also made me think of Robot Wars, which was on Comedy Central during that time from 94 to 97.
Yeah.
Even though nothing about this looked like that, but they just called it Robot Wars. It was people like building their own little machines to fight each other or whatever. I don't know that I ever watched an entire episode, but I feel like it was always on after like South Park or something. Okay. Oh, wait. No, this is pre-South Park. So yeah, who knows what I was watching before that, but
South Park, did the world even exist back then? Because South Park's been on forever.
Well, there's a good argument it did not.
I think it's like 1998 or something. It's been on forever.
Before that, there's a whole conversation about Paris getting in the shuttle, and there's the conversation about losing another shuttle and everything. That was really fun. God, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, obviously I'm a big Paris guy, but I love them giving him a hard time. And I've said, I really like the Voyager characters, but I thought that was a very fun moment of them. Like Harry and Paris kind of give it to each other, but I don't know if anybody else does as much as they do. Yeah. So here's some more of that. And it also goes into our, we've talked about like, man, shuttles, they just give them away, a dime a dozen. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Chakotay says, it's Chakotay, who actually says it. You don't mind if the rest of us give you a help, do you, Paris? I'd hate to lose another shuttle. And Paris says, your concern for my welfare is heartwarming. That was a great little moment. And again, giving Chakotay some fun stuff to say.
Sure.
It's cool.
So B'Elanna has her Oppenheimer moment where she's like, oh God, what have I done? Or my God, what have I done?
Yep.
And then destroys the prototype, which I did not see coming. Like that was heavy. That was heavy stuff.
Yeah, and then they immediately shoot her. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I guess to that point there is definitely some Frankenstein going on here too, which I
Sure.
completely we didn't talk about at all. But
And I also loved the conversation B'Elanna and Janeway had at the end, where Janeway is like, "Hey, whatever happened, like what you did was no small achievement. You need to be proud of that. Like
yeah.
as a scientist, as an engineer, and
Hmm.
yeah, what you did was difficult." And B'Elanna's like, "Well, it wasn't just difficult; it was necessary." But still, like all that, like Janeway saying, "Hey, like you did what you had to do, but also like you accomplished something awesome." So I
Yeah.
loved that moment between them. Voyager definitely passing the Bechdel test on these episodes. Loving it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny that we haven't talked about that much because like we haven't had to.
No, I think it's just kind of obvious that Voyager almost always passes. Not almost
Yeah.
always, but anytime you get
Yeah.
some Janeway B'Elanna conversation, you know that
Yeah.
episode's going to pass the Bechdel test.
They're not in the gym
No, they don't
stretching.
wear stretchy leotards. This episode was written by Nicholas Correa.
I think
Correa?
this is the only one he wrote.
Yeah, so he is best known for writing for The Incredible Hulk in the late 70s, early
Yes.
80s. He did 12
Yeah.
episodes and
He's
then
been
wrote the
around, yeah.
TV movie The Incredible Hulk Returns. He only has 23 writing credits, only one Voyager. He does have 2 Deep Space Nine credits that we did discuss previously. He story by for Hippocratic Oath and teleplay for Indiscretion, which were both earlier this season. But then he did 28 episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger in the 90s, and that was the end of his career. He did die in 1999, so it's probably why that was the end of his career.
Oh, that's right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, not a lot.
Young
And
man. He was only
directed
56.
by, tell me if I'm pronouncing this right, Jonathan Frakes.
I think it's Jonathan.
Jonathan.
I think
Jonathan
yeah.
Frakes? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
Jonathan Frakes. Don't know who this guy is. Obviously, our good friend Commander Riker.
Yeah.
Yeah, love anytime he directs because whatever. I mean, Jonathan Frakes. There's a reason why he is still directing New Trek. I don't know. He just gets it. He's got the style. He's got the. They're gonna let him direct a couple of the big screen Trek films too that we're about to watch because he's just so good at it. He directed 2 of the 4 next gen films. So, yeah. Had Leonard Nimoy still been directing, I feel like they might have brought him back for new Trek. I know they didn't let him direct in the 90s, and they should have because he was directing at that point. But Jonathan Frakes is the Trek director. Always has been, always will be. I feel like.
And he said he's done so much. Yeah.
So and it's kind of annoying because he's really good as Riker, and he still is. Like when he came back for Searching Picard, like he hasn't acted since Star Trek, as far as I know. Like he just directs now, and he's a really good director. Like he did Spy Kids and all that stuff, and then I think he did Spy Kids. He did some stuff like that, and then comes back, and they put him on screen for Picard again, and it's like, oh, he didn't miss a beat. He is who he is, and I get that every time I see like little behind the scenes of him directing, I'm like, well, that's just Riker. It's just Jonathan Frakes. Jonathan Frakes is Jonathan Frakes. So it's kind of not fair that he's this good at directing when I love his take on acting a certain role. But
that reminds me, I've been watching MSC3K. They've always got it running on YouTube on their channel, and then there's other they have different collections of their episodes. But one of them, they do a thing about, I can't remember what movie. It might have been Night of the Iguana even, but they're saying it's the director's one of his staples or whatever, and it's people raising a leg and putting it down. It was very, and somehow they didn't reference Jonathan Frakes, but it made me think of that. But yeah, he just seems like he's like a great, I don't know anyone saying anything bad about him.
Well, the actors love working with him because they said he really gets actors and doesn't talk down to them and treats them with respect. But the results also speak for themselves. Like his episodes are always well directed. Maybe you're not like, oh, this stands out as the best episode ever, but you're also not like this is bad directing. Like if you stop for a second and consider the directing, you're like, well, that was towards the better end of the directing for the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Jonathan Frakes.
A couple more notes.
He's a master. Anyway, keep going.
He's great. I like when Paris. And I know I'm Mr. Exposition talking about Exposition, But I like when he's like, okay, I'm doing this right now. I'm doing this. So he's kind of telling us like what's happening in the episode in case you're not sure while he's in the shuttle. And I work with a guy who's a really good trainer, and one of the things he does is he kind of is like he's talking while he's doing what he's doing, and I've told him and other people have recognized like that's helpful to us because it just kind of gets it in our brain, and I know it's helpful for him just doing his job, but it's helpful for everyone else that he's kind of we're all looking over his shoulder. It's like, okay, this is cool, and so I kind of looked at it that way, and I thought it was really good, and for once, they didn't lose communication or whatever. Well, no, they do eventually, don't they? I can't remember,
they're
right?
damaged, but yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Hey, I'm free. Let's do it." My only other note is my alternate episode is, like I said, as soon as Janeway's like, "This is ship of exploration," I'm like, I don't know if we should do this. My alternate one is they melt down UA 3947, and they make them into a blender with 5 settings, and then they have a party, and everyone has a good time, and they all give Paris a hard time about losing shuttles, and they don't even have to go in the holodeck. They just have a good time. And maybe based on what we said earlier, Neelix leaves early. Of course, Kes stays around because she's young. She's 2. And and then it's Red Kryptonite time because everyone's having a good time thanks to the AU 3947 blender. So that's my episode.
Okay, then.
That's all I got. That's all I got on notes. Yeah.
Me too. Ranking the episode, who was your annoyance for Prototype?
I'm going to say AU 3947.
AU 3947. Was that our main guy?
Yeah, Automated Unit 3947.
Okay, thank you. IMDb it just says 3947, so I wasn't sure. I just wrote main robot, but that's exactly who I'm choosing as well. AU 3947. So yes, I totally agreed. Who are you having a drink with?
My guy Paris. I loved him in this episode. He's having fun. He's like, yep, I'm getting in that shuttle. Let's do it. I do love his I'm the best pilot. And like I think we talked about this. I'd love to see him and Sulu like going mano y mano. Of course, I'm still gonna root for Sulu, of course. But I like his confidence, but it doesn't come off as cockiness, even though if we decide he's the character from
Nicholas Arno.
TNG, but so I'm just like I think he deserves it. He also did a great job.
Okay, I'm having a drink with B'Elanna after all the stuff she went
I think
through.
that's a perfect.
Yeah, she had.
I think it's 2 straight weeks. I didn't go with the easy.
Yeah, I'm impressed by your choice.
Maybe I am growing up, but just wait till next week.
Who was your inspiring character?
Torres.
See, I went with B'Elanna for that one as well.
Yeah, I think she's wrestling, like we talked about. She's wrestling with so much.
She is.
And I will say, I talked earlier, like, I will say, I think this is a good episode for her. And we talked about, as opposed to like pressure and all that. But also I feel like she does go on a journey in so many different ways in this episode. Like I said, I don't like the idea at the beginning because I just know it's going to lead, but there's going to be some conflict, but yeah, she goes through such a journey, and the Prime Directive talk's good, and the gobbledygook talk is good, and then she's like, "Oh, I got to say Voyager." Yeah, I just thought she was great.
Yeah,
or Torres was great. She's very inspiring.
Agreed. I mean, I didn't love this episode, but I am feeling better about it after talking through it. Just for
me
what
too.
It does for B'Elanna.
I still don't know that I love it, but
let's do.
Like I said, it's kind of that stew from other things, and it's fine. It's good.
Agreed.
But
it's fine. It's good. Is accurate.
Yeah.
Let's start the same place we started last week. Elogium. Better, worse than Kes going into heat. I don't know why we ranked that one so high, other than maybe the season's not good. But we ranked it above the 37s, which
I do think, and this might just be me because I'm a Kes fan, a contrarian there. I think I thought it was very interesting, so I could probably go either way.
Yeah, it's hard because I would definitely put this below the 37s, but
yeah.
Elogium I'm on the fence with. I feel like you and whoever we had for Elogium might have knocked it up.
Yeah, I think we liked it more.
We had Keith for Elogium. That you guys knocked it up higher than I would have put it. So if we're going below the 37s, right now below that is Maneuvers, which was the Seska and Kazon that we just had recently.
Oh.
I'd probably go below that.
Yeah, I think I would too.
So below that is the Voyager episode Parturition.
All right.
That is, I know, I had to look it up too. That is Cass starting to train on flying the shuttle.
Oh, Neelix and Tom fight over Cass.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go above that.
Yeah, let's go above that. Okay. So
Much
we'll go above Parturition.
Yeah.
Which puts it as number 6 out of 13. So just slightly above the halfway point.
That seems about right.
Yeah, it feels like the middle of a next gen season, but not like one of the episodes of Star Trek I would like a mediocre next gen season.
This might be one of those where when we get to our season wrap up, we're like, all right, let's revisit all this and figure it out.
But we never do. We say that.
We never do.
But we've never reordered the season. So
yeah. By then we're especially by then, 15 episodes later, we're like, what was that one?
Yeah.
Okay, what was that one? Yeah.
Yeah. Next week, we're sticking with Voyager for alliances. IMDb just says Janeway tries to make an alliance with the Kazon sect for their own protection and so they can continue their journey through the Delta Quadrant, which tells us nothing. But I will say Seska and Maj Kola will be back next week.
Okay.
So they're not done. This is not, I mean, they're going to continue throughout the season, but this is a Seska return episode. So the first season, the antagonists were the Kazon. We didn't see them that much. Season 2, Seska and Maj Kola are the antagonists.
Okay. Well,
Star Trek hasn't really done like a season-long antagonist before. But Seska's the season 2 antagonist.
All right. Well, I enjoy seeing Seska.
I do too. I don't know. Maneuvers was fine. At this point, I'm not excited to see her again. And I feel bad about that.
Yeah. I guess we'll see if maybe a little of Seska goes a long way, but so far the drips and drabs I've had, I enjoy her a lot.
I got excited for her when she was still a Bajoran for every appearance. And now that she's a Cardassian, I'm so much less excited for her appearances. I don't know. Yeah. I think it's because she used to do episodes that did not involve the Kazon, and now all of her episodes are Kazon episodes. And I'm like, it's the Kazon. I don't care as much. Because I don't love the Kazon.
No, I don't either.
Who does? Find me the Kazon fan. I want to talk to them and ask why.
Yeah.
So anyway, until then, live long.
Automated Unit 8143265178 and prosper.
It's All Been Done presents
Who's Got the Time?